What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Upper, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest and craziest developments in the One Piece story. Specifically, today we're going to cover some of the craziest spoilers we've ever seen. I'm not overplaying this. This could easily turn out to be the most hyped chapter in the history of One Piece. If you do enjoy these spoiler reviews before the full translated page chapter reviews and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel Pirate King with it and smash that like button. Always be a smashing Pirate King, not a passing Orochi. Join the Nakama today by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss the full review later in the week or other One Piece videos and updates. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. We had a really long break after the last chapter, and it was a banger, so we couldn't complain. It was revealed not only that Luffy was a new Yonko, but also that Buggy D. Clown himself was a new Yonko, a revelation that took the One Piece community by storm, and I'm not surprised. And Oda did not disappoint with this comeback chapter either. He definitely came back with a bang, an even bigger bang potentially, and something we've been waiting for since chapter 1 has finally happened, something I've been saying for a while should be happening soon. But first, let's start with the title of this chapter, which may be your favorite legendary dog in Pokemon, Entei. To be fair, my favorite was the ice legendary dog. I believe it was Suicune, but I think we all remember Entei from getting his own movie. Although I knew for a long time that Entei was a legendary dog in Pokemon, even before I knew what anime was, I never thought to look up the meaning. But a quick Google search will let us know that it can mean Emperor of Fire or Flames in Japanese. Very interesting. That makes sense for Entei the dog, I suppose, but it will make all the more sense for One Piece, and it will be all the more hype as we're about to see. We got a One Piece color spread coming this chapter, and it could not sound better. It's gonna be a color spread of the new Yonko, namely of Buggy, Shanks, Blackbeard, and Luffy. This sounds like the kind of cover spread I want to use as a poster and just stick it on the wall in my room. The rest are the ones containing Nami on the beach. We're told Green Bull has a Logia and not a mythical zone, which honestly is probably a good move, since if I think about it, we've already had a lot of mythical zones, especially considering the fact that it's supposed to be the rarest category. I get that Oda probably doesn't want to kill the magic by having too many, but at the same time, they're so hype, so I'd personally forgive the quantity. The Logia is called Mori Mori no Mi, and of course, I looked up Mori on Google, and it comes out as the Japanese word for forest. So he has the forest fruit. And that is very cool because it's very broad, and potentially Green Bull can use any ability you can find in a forest. We've already seen roots, but I'm sure he has plenty more tricks up his sleeves. And again, this reminds me even more of Hashirama from Naruto now, and you know how revered he was as the first Hokage and how revered his wood style was as well. So I think Oda is really trying to build up Green Bull even more here. We know Green Bull was approaching the party with our main characters in the last chapter, and we're told in this one, Yamato hits Green Bull in the head. On the one hand, this is hype because we're going to get this highly anticipated fight to start. On the other hand though, Yamato hasn't officially joined the crew yet, and it would suck, like really hard, if Green Bull injures her so badly or even kills her so she can't. Either way, I'm hoping backup isn't far behind, since this dude just took out Queen and King like they were nothing. The most hype part of this overall hype chapter comes next. We are told Shanks, you heard that right, the pirate from chapter 1 who inspired Luffy's journey and who I made a 1 hour long video about, link in the description. Yes, that red-haired Yonko, he is on the shores of, get this, Wano country, and he says, it's time to go for the One Piece. Wow, I got goosebumps just reading that part to myself. This is insane on so many levels. And let's cover a couple of these levels. One, of course, it's the big moment set up in the beginning that Luffy will meet Shanks again when he's a great pirate. That was 25 years ago, and now that moment is finally here. I've also been saying now for a while that it's time for them to meet because Luffy has undeniably become a great pirate, especially after Gear 5, being the strongest creature in the world and becoming a Yonko. Two, the implication here is that Shanks and Luffy are going for the One Piece together. Now this may very well be complicated by Blackbeard at some point, but having a Luffy-Shanks alliance making their way for the One Piece is amazing to think about. Not to mention the fact that the series is called One Piece and we have Shanks mentioning how the time has come to get it. So hype, one can't even verbalize how big of a deal this is. If you guys recall, when he was a kid, Shanks stayed with a sick Buggy when Roger went for the final island, so he never saw it for himself. In fact, Shanks said that they, meaning he and Buggy, would go with their own ship one day. Now that time appears to have come, and if we take the flashback into account, and specifically Shanks' words, Yonko Buggy may well join them on their journey. After all, who didn't love seeing Buggy and Luffy work together at Impel Down? It was awesome, it was peak One Piece, they made such a hype team. And by the way, if anyone wants to count how many times I said hype in this video and post in the comments, feel free to, but I think you'll agree it's justified because this chapter was that word. Next, as if that wasn't enough greatness for a chapter, we get news about what happened with Sabo. You'll remember that we had that moment where people were reading his name in the papers and saying stuff like, Sabo, it can't be true, and Sabo, say it ain't so. And Blackbeard said if the Navy's only going to take it, I might as well claim the prize. So, at the time, it seemed like Oda was teasing that Sabo might be dead. But I never believed this personally because, in my view, it would suck too much for Sabo to be introduced after Ace died, for him to take his fruit no less, and then for him only to die as well. And thankfully that turned out to be a right assumption. The distressing news about Sabo was not that he died, it turns out to be that he killed Cobra, Vivi's father, and the 12th king of Alabasta. Now don't get me wrong, that is sad news that Cobra is dead, but at the same time, you know, if we had to pick between Cobra and Sabo, you know what I'm saying. Thus, the implication is that Blackbeard was talking about Alabasta and moved in to take it for himself. That would make sense since, as I said, his bounty had to go up since last time, because if it didn't, he'd be a Yonko with a lower bounty than Kid in Law, which doesn't make any sense. He probably succeeded in taking Alabasta, among other things, and his bounty has likely bounced up accordingly. Now, what do I think about whether Sabo actually killed Cobra, one of the rare good rulers? Well, my opinion is the same as Dragon's. We gotta wait and ascertain the truth. Right now, my gut feeling is that likely the government pinned it on Sabo and made him a scapegoat, but perhaps Sabo had a good reason and did do it. Who knows? All I know is that I'm on Sabo's side and I'm hyped to hear he's alive and kicking. And not only that, we hear the Revolutionary Army successfully helped Kuma. This is all the more hype since we know that Sabo and the Revolutionary commanders battled Fujitora and Green Bull in order to rescue Kuma. Thus, the implication is that they overpowered them in battle or at least held their own while rescuing Kuma and retreating. Considering how much Oda has hyped up Green Bull recently, that's insane to think about. Back in the day, I was disappointed when I found out that the second in command of the Revolutionaries, namely Sabo, had a bounty of only 602 million berries, but Oda has more than made up for it with this chapter. Sabo has actually been proclaimed the Emperor of the Flames, aka a legendary dog in Pokemon, implying he's taken Luffy's spot as the new 5th Emperor. I mentioned that this spot might go to someone as well since we knew that Luffy would be moving up to Yonko rather than 5th Emperor, and I'm so glad to see it go to Sabo. It also makes the Revolutionaries look so strong too, which I think they were missing in the past. It's awesome that their second in command is an Emperor, and that's not even to mention their boss, Monkey D. Dragon, the worst criminal in the world. And then at the end of the chapter, Akainu talks to a new character. You guys can speculate as to who you think it is in the comments, but I'm content to let this detail go for now, and I'll circle back when we have more information with the full translated chapter. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that, and thank God and Oda that we don't have a break next week, so we won't have to sit on this bombshell of a chapter for long without getting any answers. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it. Be a smashing pirate king and not a passing Orochi. Let me know how you enjoyed these chapter spoilers and what you think you're going to rate this chapter when it finally comes out in full. This has to be a 10 out of 10 in my view. From just the spoilers alone, I'm gonna call it right now, this has to be a 10 out of 10. So many crazy moments and reveals, not to mention so many fan favorite characters coming in epic fashion. To not miss my full detailed chapter review and other One Piece videos and updates, join the Nakama right now by subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. As I've been saying, now is not the time to be missing One Piece. We are very close to the end right now, and of course, relatively speaking, that could be years, but still, story-wise, we are very close to the end, and you know Oda is going to go out with a bang. We all know that. We have trust in Oda. While you wait for the full chapter review to drop, feel free to check out my huge and growing One Piece playlist that includes videos on all the Yonko, Warlords, Admirals. Like I said, that 1 hour long video about Shanks, which might be the longest Shanks video on YouTube, I don't know. But anyways, That video is there and much more. Link to that playlist is in the description and on screen right now. Drop a hashtag AllHailBuggy in the comments to show your support. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.